So we have another episode of Entrepreneur Monday. I have my good friend Sal. Sal, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I have Patty here as well with Sal, and I'm bringing them both to you because Sal has taken the leap to become an entrepreneur. In addition to a brand new father, just had your first child. Yes. How old is she now?
2 months.
2 months, okay. And he's recently married. So all these things, and by the way, I've been knowing Sal and Patty for a few years now, and the fact that he's gone on his own to start a business meant a lot. So I want to push him and his business so you all know what he's about. You can support Sal, Patty. There's another one who's not here, Evelyn. Support Evelyn as well in the business. So Sal, give us a little bit of background on what you do, how you do, what made you start the business, and go from there.
Okay. Hi everyone. I started real estate back in 2014. I got licensed 2016, but I got my foot in 2014 doing transaction TC work, and I liked the whole thing about real estate. I went all in, got my license, and then I joined Remax Champions, great company. And after learning and growing, I think I was working in Remax Champions when I met Patty. Patty reached out to me, and we started doing business together. We saw how we work, and a few years later, we decided to team up, work together. I left Remax Champions to start my own thing under a smaller brokerage, but start my team, which is called Casabella Real Estate. And now we're growing. I think I made the switch in a crazy market during the pandemic, and now we're seeing a shift in the market, so I think it's going to be a challenge for growth. So that's where we are right now.
Good. Now, Patty, tell us a little about yourself. And the great part about you, Patty, I like is that you come from a real estate backside. You come from real estate and you went into loans, so you have the best of both worlds. So when you work with Patty, she has knowledge of what a realtor wants and needs, in addition to a loan officer. But I'll let Patty talk to you about what she does.
So, like Sal, I actually started as a transaction coordinator.
Okay.
I got licensed in 2011. That's when I got in the business. As many of you know, if you've been in the business for a while, 2011 wasn't very great. The crash had just happened and things were just starting to pick up. So I was a transaction coordinator. After that, in 2014, 15, I decided to become a full-time realtor, which I did for a few years. And I was challenged to take the NMLS, which is the test for the loan license. I was actually told I couldn't do it. It was a bet.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you did it.
I bet you I can.
Okay.
I took the test. I passed it the first time.
Exactly. Good job.
When I passed it, I really did not have the plan. It wasn't in my mind to do loans. Loans was never something that crossed my mind until I passed the test. And I realized if this is something that's so difficult to do, and I did it in the first try, then it's worth
Give
me
it a
learning.
try. Absolutely.
So I went ahead, I learned, and I absolutely loved it. I decided that loans is where I want to be, and that's what I've been doing for the past 4 years now.
Good deal. So you have experience in both Sal and Patty. And let me just break down a little bit for you. When they both say they started as transaction coordinators, I think sometimes transaction coordinators have the hardest job of all of us, because they have to keep all of the paperwork. They have deadlines to meet for the real estate side, as far as appraisals, as far as contingencies, as far as escrow closing. So when you start with that foundation, that is really good. So now tell us and tell the people, what do you all specialize, since you have the combination of real estate and loans? If I come to you and I say, hey Sal, I want you to sell my house, or I want to buy a house with you, but I need a loan, how does that package work with both you all's experience over the years?
Okay. Well, I specialize first-time home buyers. 80% of my clients are first-time buyers.
Oh, good.
The other 20%, they've bought a house in the past. About 70% are Hispanic. And I also specialize in both land, lot, but we focus more on residential. That's how me and Patty work together, because there's a lot of great programs, and not just that, she's also Hispanic. She's both fluent in Spanish and English, so we can relate and connect with the clients, which that's really, really important. I have a lot of clients that they ask me, hey, does the lender speak Spanish? Absolutely.
Perfect.
So she reaches out to them, and they're happy, and that's how we work together.
And Patty, your experience in working with Sal, with getting loans done. I mean, granted, rates are going up, right?
Yes.
But I always say, not I always say, but in reading and just knowing the market, having a house, you have a lot more options than renting a property. Right?
Exactly.
When you see on the news right now, landlords are kicking people out and we want the property back and all these different things. When you have a house, you can do so many more things with it when you own real estate. Not only that, it's an asset.
Right.
So tell the people how you work with loans and how you get the paperwork up front, and you make sure, because that's I hear a lot of people, and you see on the market, they're falling out of escrow. Right, back on the market because the person didn't qualify. Tell them the steps you take to make sure that they get into a house.
So the first thing we do is we do have an in-person consultation with the borrowers. I prefer to do it that way, especially since I do deal with a lot of first-time Hispanic buyers. It's a little bit more difficult. They need that attention, that one-on-one. And I educate them.
Okay.
Actually, I educate them on the process, on the paperwork. A lot of our people have been scammed before.
Unfortunately.
So unfortunately, yes. So I educate them. Even if they don't want to work with me, if for any reason they decide not to choose me, they're educated, and if they go elsewhere, somebody else isn't going to take advantage of them.
Got it.
We do pre-qualify them. They're in person. So we make sure they get pre-qualified. We have all the paperwork, and by the time they get into escrow, we make sure that they don't fall out, for any of our mistakes.
So you make sure the ratios are in place.
The ratios are in place. The income is there. The verifications of employment.
So for people watching, what is the basic information they would need to give you to get pre-qualified and then come to Sal so he can find them a house? What would you need so people would know?
So the basic things that we need are the last 2 years of income tax and W-2s. That are self-employed, obviously just the 1099s and the Schedule Cs or K1s or whatever, however they do their taxes.
Taxes, okay.
Right. The last 2 months of bank statements and 1 month's worth of paycheck stubs, and the ID and social, so we can go ahead and run credit.
Okay.
It's very important to run the credit before. That way we can see if there's anything on the credit, any disputes, any collections, things that need to be settled. So that's another thing that needs to be really looked at very carefully is the credit report, in order for us to not fall out of escrow later.
Absolutely.
And make sure that there's no disputes, no collections that can affect their qualification.
Good deal. And that's something that's very important because it's easy for someone to give you a pre-qualification, like, you have what on your credit, but haven't looked at it. You make how much, but haven't seen it.
And interview over the phone.
Exactly. There you go.
Phone.
Interview over the phone. So the fact that they both take the time to come see you and meet you in person means a lot, because in this day and age of the internet, people don't do that anymore. People don't take the time to sit one-on-one. And the one thing I like that you said, Patty, and you as well, Sal, is that you guys both educate your clients. So even if they left, which they're not because we want them to stay with you, but even if they did leave, they're educated. And not only that, when they close that escrow, now they can help the next person and educate them because you both educated that client.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? It happens where sometimes I've lost clients in the past because we educated them, and believe me, they bought a house somewhere else, and they come back to me saying they regret it because the other agent or lender
didn't do a good job. Yes.
Happens all the time. I think we're in the business to help. Real estate's a rewarding career, and a lot of people go for it for the money.
Right.
I think for us is the customer service.
Yeah, there's a lot of people say they want to be sharks in the business. They just go devour. They don't care who they hurt.
Exactly.
And I don't see myself as a shark in the business.
No.
I see myself more as someone. I want to see my clients.
Absolutely.
I always tell my client at the end of the day, when you get your keys, I want you to have peace of mind that night. You can go to sleep and not say, you know what did I get myself into?
Yeah. That you feel comfortable, you weren't taken advantage of. And if you were a shark, even though that's an aggressive term, but in this business is not what we want, I wouldn't even be interviewing you right now. So the fact that you are a good person, an ethical person, Patty the same way, a family man, that makes a difference. And that's why I want to give you exposure to the people so they support you and use you and give you some business. So
Absolutely, yeah.
So with that being said, I am grateful and honored that you both took time out of your day to come out. Let the people know, one, how they can reach you and what your social media handles are, so they can come to you, they can follow you, and when they're looking to buy a house, and let's be clear, one of the things that we like to do is we want to raise the awareness and culture of black and brown people. And just because Sal said he deals with mostly Hispanic doesn't mean that if you're black, white, yellow, green, purple, he's not going to help you. He's going to help you, but unfortunately, sometimes our people are the ones that lack in education in order to buy a house, and that's why they both take the extra effort in order to help to raise that American dream so everybody can be a part of it. So Sal, Patty, tell them your social handles, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, website, phone numbers. Let's let the people know.
Salvador Lizarraga with Casabella Real Estate. My business just Instagram, Lizarraga_associates.
Okay.
And you can reach me at 909-565-0140. I will answer. If I don't answer, I call back the same day.
Yes.
And hablo español to all my Hispanic people. I said about 70% is about Hispanic. The other 30%, I mean, I help everyone who comes needs help for real estate.
Exactly.
But I do serve LA County, the Inland Empire, Riverside. So there's a lot of Hispanic in this area.
Any Orange County?
Orange County. I haven't had the privilege yet to do an Orange County.
So somebody hit him so he can put one person on. Yeah, he's ready for Orange County.
Irvine,
Santa Ana, let him know. Let's do it. Yeah. And Patty?
I am on Facebook, Patty Stigler. My business name is Home Sweet Home Mortgage.
Like it.
Located here in Rancho Cucamonga. My Instagram is also Home Sweet Home Mortgage, my professional one. My personal one, I mean, it's public. It's a little difficult, so I won't.
But it's personal, so just hit it on the. We don't want all the single men hitting you because you're attractive. If you want some business, hit it on the business. Don't even look for the personal.
Right,
okay, yeah, exactly.
It's the Home Sweet Home Mortgage one. My phone number is 909-549-1144. Like Sal, I'm always available. I answer weekends and after 5 o'clock.
And another good part is that with Patty, she does open houses.
I do open
right?
houses, yes.
So if you are another realtor and you're looking to partner with a good lender, reach out to her.
I'm always available for an open house.
And they both communicate really well. So that's another plus where you give a lender or a real estate agent a call and they take a day, 2 days to call you back. Well, you've already moved on by then. But even though they have families, they will make the time to give you a call and communicate. So that's another plus. So with that being said, reach out. We're going to post all their information on in this video below, so you can contact them on Instagram, Facebook, call them, whatever the case may be. But please call for business. And Sal is happily married, just so you know. So ladies, leave him alone. Okay?
Happily married.
Yes, that's the key word. Happily. Yeah, the key word is happily married. But thank you both again, and I look forward to seeing and touching base with you later on to see what kind of business you got and helping to put this out to the community.
James, thank you for having us here.
Thank you. So, Gabby, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, good. Thank you for taking the time out your busy schedule to come on our Entrepreneur Monday, all the way from St. Louis.
That's right.
You are a realtor out there. We've been knowing each other a while online, and you agreed to come out. And this segment is to change the culture in business, in real estate, as far as what people see in Black and brown people. And I thought you'd be a perfect candidate. You are a mother, you're an entrepreneur, you are a daughter, you're a sister, you are a hard worker, you persevere through everything, and you're my favorite, you're a Libra. So that gives you on top. So there's so many different attributes that I want to introduce the world to you and what you do. So we want to drive business to you for buyers, sellers, investors. So tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and let's get started.
Yeah, so I'm a realtor. I've been in real estate for about 8 years. I've always been with RE/MAX. I have changed brokerages, but always stayed within the RE/MAX umbrella. And I am a single mom of 3 kids. I have 2 teenagers and a 9-year-old boy, so they are definitely a handful. So absolutely. I feel like I work 24/7, whether it's being in real estate or as a mother. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right, it's nonstop. and you do a good job. So tell us about the market out there and how things are going. And I know we spoke a little bit yesterday when we were practicing, but let the people know what areas you service and in which you specialize in.
So I work with buyers, I work with sellers, I work with investors. I also do commercial. I do rentals as well. I do property management as well. And I am pretty much all over Missouri, St. Louis County, St. Louis City, St. Charles County, Warren County, Lincoln County, Jefferson County, which is basically all of Missouri. So I'm pretty much all over the place. And like I said, I do everything from representing buyers, sellers, investors with flips, investors with their rentals. I do their property management as well.
So that's very important. I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people come, especially with me being in California, you could buy 10 houses in St. Louis almost for the price of California prices. And the fact that a lot of people come out of state and want rentals because they can't afford rentals sometimes in California, and they just want to get started, you would be, or even investments as far as flip, you'd be the best person for them to reach out to help in that. And you help a lot of investors out there. And what's that return like for you? And what's the average price on there if someone wanted to get into the rental or the investment aspect of St. Louis?
So the average price for let's say just a move-in rental, let's say, I know you and I have discussed this before. Let's say you don't want to, do a flip here. You just want to buy something that's ready to go. Sometimes even with a tenant already, you're looking at an average price of about $90,000 with, a tenant paying about $800 to $900 a month.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, just to give you an idea. And I deal a lot with that. Like, I have people that have come here from other states. They've bought a property. They didn't have to do anything to it. Sometimes maybe a little paint just to freshen it up. And we have a tenant in there within 2 weeks. And I have some of these rentals. They've had the same tenant for about 2 to 3 years. Wow. And, I do the property management. My clients are in other states, living their best lives. And I take care of everything.
That is wonderful. So in essence, you're a one-stop shop, really.
Pretty much.
Meaning that you can really come down there, stay 2, 3, maybe a week, get all the business done, and you take care of it. And the other part is that you're fluent in Spanish as well. So you have the best of both worlds.
That is correct. Yes, I am fully bilingual. 80% of my clientele is the Hispanic community. I have a lot of investors coming from California. Just this morning, I met with 2 families from California. They're thinking about moving. So they're going to be here for 2 weeks. They were kind of telling me a little bit about how the real estate market is over there compared to here. So they're pretty excited. They're going to keep the houses that they have there. They're going to rent those out, and they're going to move here to live here just because it's just so much more affordable.
Right. And see, that's what this whole segment is about, being able to bring people to you. So anyone who's moving from any state or any country to St. Louis or the Missouri area that want to move down there, please reach out to her and she will take care of you. But I'm thinking a Range Rover almost costs $90,000, and you can buy a house with a paying tenant. And that's what the E40 song says. Basically says, don't buy an $80,000 car before you buy a house. That is the perfect analogy, and you can get that down there with you. So with that being said, let me ask you, what is the market like out there for you? I know in California, it's slowed up a little bit, over maybe 550,000, but our 300,000 to maybe 500,000 range is still active. How is it out there for you all?
Pretty much the same. I want to say our average price range right now that's moving pretty quickly still is anywhere from 150,000 to 350,000. I mean, those are maybe lasting a day or 2 on the market, and then they're under contract.
Okay, wow. So at those prices, do you see a lot of people still getting financing even with the rates going up? Are people putting down more of a down payment or cash buyers? What are you seeing?
No, it's still pretty much the same. Even though the interest rates have gone up, in my market, we're still getting financing without having to put more money down than what was initially agreed.
Oh, wow. Good. So tell us some of the good, if somebody's looking to move down there, let's say a family of 2 or 3 from California or a different state, what area would they want to move in, or would you suggest for them?
I would say anywhere in St. Louis County, St. Charles County. Those are still the pretty hot counties here where, based on some of these websites, they consider to have the best school districts.
Okay.
And then I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say not only that, but I think, I don't know if you're aware, but most people know that we're considered the 20-minute city because everything is nearby. I mean, everything is a pretty close commute, whether you want to go to the Arch, you want to go to the farmer's market, you want to go to the airport, like everything is just, it's so close by. With a 20-minute drive, you're there, no matter where you want to go, no matter where you're staying at, if you're in St. Louis County.
Okay. And you have the St. Louis Cardinals out there for the baseball team, right?
Yes, that is right. We have the St. Louis Cardinals, we have the St. Louis Blues, and we have some pretty nice game days when they're playing.
Now the Blues, what is that, the hockey team?
Hockey, yes.
Okay, good deal. So anyone that wants to move from, especially California, if I want to move down there, how is the traffic down there? I know that's always a good question.
20-minute commute.
Okay, because for us, if you're in LA, going from Sunset to a different street or just in that area can take you 20 minutes to go damn near 2 blocks, which you could walk. So that's why I was asking that question.
Yeah, no, not here. Thankfully, not here.
So tell us a little bit about the weather out there. How is that as far as California is always sunny, different states, the weather changes. How is your weather out there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, over here, I want to say anywhere from October to early March, that's our winter pretty much, our fall winter. So you'll start seeing, temperatures between 50 anywhere down to, 0 degrees. And then we go from 70s up to 104 like we were last week. So those are our springs and summers.
Okay, so you have a wide variety out there.
Yes, we do, for sure.
Great. Anybody looking right now, what would you suggest to them in there? Because there's so much propaganda on the news and social media where people get nervous. So someone who's renting opposed to someone who wants to buy, they hear about the rates. As an agent, what would you tell them in your market to say, hey, this is still a good time to buy and don't believe the hype, basically?
Yeah, no, I would definitely, I've been to my current plans and I've kind of become a little bit discouraged because of the interest rate going up. I'm telling them, the values are going to keep on going up. The prices are going to keep on going up. So my suggestion would be buy something right now, lock in that rate, wait 2 or 3 years for the interest rate to drop, but lock in that price, that property price, and if the interest rates drop, then refinance. Because the prices are going to keep on going up. That's what we've been seeing. I mean, I'm talking to clients right now that have bought 2 or 3 houses with me already throughout, the years because they've, needed bigger houses or whatever the case might be. And we've seen those prices. We've seen how the property values have just gone up insane and it's not stopping. It's not changing. They're not coming down. So that's what I would say, buy now, lock in that price. And if the rates go down like they always do, then refinance.
And that's funny because people 2 years ago, we're going to wait for the market to drop. We're going to wait for the market to stop. We're going to wait for houses to come down. That's not happening. Because I think the difference is that people are putting liquidity into the property, right? It's not like back in 2008 where you can just get a loan with a heartbeat. People are actually putting 3.5%, 10%, 5%, whatever the case may be. And that makes a difference. So advisement, as Gabby just said, don't wait. Go out and get you a house. And if you're in that area, make sure you reach out to her and talk to her and counsel her and make sure that you get you some property. That's the bottom line. So if I'm looking to upgrade, Gab, how much in St. Louis am I looking to spend going from where I am to another house?
It depends on what you're looking for. I mean, you're looking to upgrade from what? From a rental or from
Let's say from a rental, if I only have a 2-bedroom, I want to go to a 3 or 4 bedroom because my family's growing.
I would say you're looking at spending anywhere from $175,000 and over to get into a decent area, with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a basement.
Oh, wow. And, you guys have basements out there.
We do.
Nice.
We do.
So if you're a married couple and you need a break from your spouse, you can just go down to your basement and fix it up or have a game room down there.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. So here I think it's funny because, like I said, that family that I was just talking to from California, those 2 families, I said, will you guys be needing a basement? And I forgot that in California, you guys really don't have basements.
No.
So for us, it's the opposite. When we have a house that hits the market without a basement, it's like, ooh, because all houses here have a basement.
Right, right. And if somebody does have a basement in California, they are a serial killer. Let me just tell you that.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, because if everyone ever said, "Hey, Gab, come on out," and you're out here, and they're like, I want you to see my basement. Like, wait a minute, remember this time we said if they have a basement, they are truly something wrong with them because we just don't see that. Now they may have a lot of underground bunkers and things like that because they think that it's going to be a fallout. But they say a basement, that's suspect.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind for sure.
Please do. So I know that you're busy. I don't want to hold you. I appreciate everything in your time. And I just want to encourage people, even though the majority of clients that Gabby deals with are Hispanic, but she still helps Black, brown, white, yellow, red. Doesn't matter. She will help you. She is proficient in Spanish. She is very diligent. She communicates. She is an A1 prime time agent, and I wouldn't have her on if she wasn't. Plus, she's a personal friend, so that does help. And she's a fellow Libra, so all those things help out. But I really want to push as many people as I can in this segment to you to help increase and grow your business.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. And yeah, like just like I said, whether you're thinking about moving to St. Louis because we have some amazing history, or because we have some great sports teams, or just because you want to save or take advantage of, our housing market here, I think it's a great move. I love St. Louis. And just come on over, call me, reach out to me, and I will guide you through.
Perfect. Now tell us your handle, your business handle, not the personal, because we don't want these stalkers or people thinking this is Bumble to try to reach out and date you. Tell us the business handles that you have on social media that people can contact you, and give me your number. And then we'll also post your information on this as well. Yeah,
definitely. So on Facebook and Instagram, it's That Real Estate Girl.
Okay.
And my phone number 314-498-5055.
And that's for serious buyers, sellers, and investors only. Just that disclaimer. And I appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon. And thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. You as well.
Bye.